Hello, my name is Brian, and this is my Jesus story. Growing up, I always believed there is a higher power. I believe there's a God. I didn't know him, but I knew there had to be something. I hung with a pretty rough and wild crowd, and then whenever I was in my early 30s, my girlfriend got pregnant with my daughter, and we tried to work it out. I ended up moving up here to Missouri, and then she followed me up here. And then on her 9-month birthday, she skipped state to Colorado. And it led to the darkest time of my life. I just had a feeling that she was getting ready to skip state, so I had her served with papers stating that I was the father and that we had joint custody. And that's the day she skipped. And I had to have papers starting here in Missouri, otherwise I'd have had to locate her before I could have her served, which turned out to be the greatest blessing I could have ever done. She went to Colorado, said that she had been beat for 9 hours. They found absolutely no proof because it didn't happen. And so I had to get a family attorney there in Colorado. And then while I had to go to court one day, I had it set up so that while I was up there, see if I couldn't see my daughter since I hadn't seen her in 7 months. And so they had a mediator bring her to my hotel room. And then after the visit, she followed the mediator with my daughter to the hotel room, and going through court, they put a restraining order on me just because of the allegations. And then after the visitation, she called the cops because she was out in the parking lot and said that she was within 100 yards of me. And because I was within 100 yards of her, they came and took me to jail for the second time. And so we had to come up with a cash bond for me to get out, and then I had to hire a criminal attorney. I already had a family attorney at that point in time in life. And then when we went to court, and she made allegations that wasn't true again, and my criminal attorney was the witness, so he had to step down, who'd already been paid off, and I had to hire a second criminal attorney. And I'd already had a family attorney and a guardian ad litem in the state of Missouri. So by this point, I had 5 attorneys. I was paying $250 each per hour plus. And then it took about 9 months to a year to get her back in the state of Missouri. During this time, I just had a feeling, I would call it at this time, that I knew I would end up with her, but just the stress load. I was working 80 hours a week, just so I'd have enough, just so I didn't starve to death and pay all my attorneys. And by the time she was about 2, just over 2, I had primary legal and physical custody of her. And it was just her and I for the next 4 or 5 years. I was the most feminine thing in her life there for many years. And then one day we were in church. We went to a rather large church, and they asked if anybody had any prayers. And at this point she was about 5, and she raises her hand up in front of about 300 people. And of course they called on her, and she asked the church if they would pray for her daddy to find a girlfriend. And there was not a dry eye in the building, I promise. And about 4 to 6 months later, I met my lovely wife, Christy, and I have had sole legal custody of my daughter since she was about 9. When she was 6, she got into her mom's medication and overdosed. I was at work when I got a call that got a call from social services that they had my daughter in Children's Mercy. She was unresponsive, due to a drug overdose. The way they talked, she was dead. The only part of that trip I remember is I was getting ready to pass an ambulance on the shoulder whenever they moved over out of the way. When I got to Children's Mercy, they told me that they don't doubt she was there, but she was not occupying a room, saying she was dead. And I told them that I wasn't leaving till I seen her body. And then after pretty much all of Children's Mercy security coming down, we found that she checked her in under a bogus name to keep me from finding out. Oh, and the judge asked her why she did that. She said that's the name that they'd already had her in there as, and that she was waiting to see how it turned out before she contacted me. And that's one of the things that led to sole custody. Well, my daughter and I, we have a very special relationship. We are closer than 99% of all father-daughters. I think I do more with her than I do my wife. And that is my Jesus story.